Good day. I'm James from Timmins-Porcupine Search and Rescue, current area commander for the unit. And this is my colleague, Marie-Andree.
Hi. I'm the PR chair with Search and Rescue, and I've been with the unit for 4 years.
So today we're going to talk to you about getting dressed for Northeastern Ontario. Northeastern Ontario has many very different weather conditions, and you have to dress appropriately. So we're going to go through the fundamentals of winter dress, and we're going to talk about the three very important parts of it. Base layers, insulating layers, and outer layers. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into a little bit of detail in what we do. We're going to talk about personal experiences that Marie-Andree and I have had, and different styles of clothing that she wears and what I wear. So what we're going to talk about first is base layers. Base layers are very, very important because what it does, it wicks moisture away from your body and retains it so that it's not up against your body, keeping yourself cold. So some examples are this kind of thing here.
When you're thinking base layer, you're thinking like long johns that goes underneath your clothes.
So what you want to make sure is that anything that you're wearing as a base layer is not cotton based. You don't want anything that's cotton because it will give you the key words, cotton kills. What cotton does, it absorbs the moisture, but it keeps it against your body, making you cold. So it's very important to go with a good set like this, like a polypropylene or some other synthetic inner layer or base layer they call it, and it wicks it away from your body and holds it away from you. So, and then after your base layer is there, and remember some key things about base layers, they can't be tight. You want to make sure that they're not too tight. You want to make sure they're not made of cotton, which is very important. And you've got to make sure that they're clean, because even a dirty pair of base layers won't work the same way as a clean pair of base layers. All right, so now insulating layers. So you're going to have to, how would you say, sacrifice fashion for function. So you want to keep something you're going to want to wear something that's got some loft to it. Loft being thickness and air pockets in it. So loft layers could be used, could be anything like wool. All right, so wool is very, very good. It's a natural product. It can be wet and still retain heat. Now, you don't need to go with 100% wool like this. You can go with a merino wool, which is not as itchy. This is a little more itchy, so you have to make sure that your base layer covers you everywhere so it doesn't get too itchy. But if you're used to that kind of stuff, that is fine. Now with the loft, you want it to create air pockets between your base layer and your outer layer so that it holds the heat, because your body's going to generate heat, and you want that heat to be held by your insulating layer. I think we have another insulating layer here.
We do. I use fleece personally.
Yep.
So, but same thing, very lofty, very thick, and bottoms as well.
All right, so this works for all different areas of your body. It could be for your hands, your head, your legs, and your torso. All right, so this is very important. Layer yourself up. Have your good base layer in your hands or on your head and in your torso and your legs, and then have a good insulating barrier to hold that heat in. So,
and the wool socks as well, I really love.
Yeah, wool or alpaca, yep. Those are very, very good. So again, they can get wet and still be warm, so they'll still retain the heat. Very important. So again, don't use cotton-based anything for your feet or your body, because it will hold the moisture against your body and keep you cold. So use that kind of thing. So now with the outer layers, you want something that's windproof and waterproof. All right, so you want something that's going to protect you from the elements, the outside elements from getting in and attacking that nice warm air that you have in your loft layers, which is your insulating layers. So if you could show a couple of your examples here.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely the snow pants.
And remember, it's all depends on what you're doing as well. If you're just walking around town and stuff like that, you're not going to wear that.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to need this. This is more, you're going out in the woods. You might be deciding to go for a walk around Gillies Lake or Porcupine Lake. You know, you want to stay warm when it's -40. This will do it.
Yeah. So in circumstances that you're in, like say you're walking around town, you want to take the bus or whatever, just wear like a longer jacket.
Yeah.
So
right here, this coat is actually a good Northern Ontario -40 winter coat. You stayed nice and toasty warm. It's lofty. It'll keep the heat in. Very comfortable.
So some insulating layers like down are very, very good. You can't ask for better, but the minute they get wet, they're no good. So you have to make sure you dry them properly. If you are cleaning them, you have to make sure you dry them properly because the insulating factor, you lose it entirely. So keep that in mind. So
Footwear.
Footwear, very important. Footwear is very important. So in your body, you're going to lose heat from your extremities, right? You're going to lose it from your head, your hands, and your feet. So we got a real good example here of some good heavy-duty winter boots.
So when you're in Timmins, no sandals in the winter, guys and gals.
So a good winter boot, they do have downscaled versions of this type of boot. Something that you can use in the urban environment, something that then they're very dressy, very nice. But this is more for wilderness survival or wilderness hiking or anything like that. So what you want to do is try to match it to the activity that you're doing. Yeah, very important to do that. So again, we talked about the three fundamentals of winter clothing. We talked about the base, the insulation, and the outer layer. Very, very important. So pick what's good for you, find your activity that you're doing, and choose your clothing accordingly to that. And some good places to find some of this stuff. Myself, I use some of the Value Village values and find things like wool. Some of the under layers you can find as well, but you got to know what you're looking for. So look for a good polypropylene layer. Things like, and we're not endorsed by any of these companies that we're mentioning, like Under Armour or Cold Gear or anything like that. And they're very good, and you can find them at a value there. Either that or like around birthdays and Christmases and stuff like that, ask for things like this.
Mine personally, I enjoy the Columbia because they have Omni-Heat layers. So this is a more new age fabric which reflects your body heat back on you. So my base layer is actually Omni-Heat, both of them here, and as well as this winter coat also has Omni-Heat inside, and my snow pants are also Omni-Heat. So it's really good because I do a lot of outdoor activity in the middle of winter when it's -40. So I need to be warm. I don't wear this on a day-to-day basis, just walking around town, but I do layer. So I do have a base layer, I have a mid layer, and I do have a coat. They're just not as heavy duty because it's actually kind of mild today.
That Omni-Heat, it comes off these type of things, the same technology. It's an emergency blanket that we utilize for rescues or people who are running triathlons or anything like that. They use that to wrap themselves to hold and retain their body heat, which is very important. And that uses that technology, and it's a very, very good system. A little more expensive, but again, sometimes you need to make some sacrifices to be able to stay warm. So toques are very important as well, and that Omni-Heat is also embedded in toques. You want to cover your ears, you want to cover your head. You can use it to regulate your temperature. So if you're getting too warm, you take the toque off and regulate your heat that way. You don't want to get frostbite on your ears because you'll never forget it. I'll tell you that for sure. The good old faithfuls, my favorite mitts, and actually it's kind of funny because I got another pair that I'm not wearing until these are done. I don't want to ruin them, but these are very, very good. They're made of moose hide and natural materials, and it's got a wool insert in it. So if it does get wet, I pull the wool out and then put it back in when it's dry. Yeah. And it keeps you very, very warm. It's almost too warm sometimes. So again, layering up, picking your activity where you're getting your what you want to use your clothing in, and dressing appropriately. So at the end of the day, if you don't think your stuff is wet, still put it out to dry. Put your mitts out to dry, put your toques out to dry, and your jackets. Hang them all up. Put them in a well-ventilated area, especially your shoes, your footwear. and make sure that they dry, because there's nothing worse than going out the next day and you have a wet pair of mitts or a wet pair of boots. All right, so back to the footwear. We are talking about drying your footwear after you've used it for the day. So in boots like this, the insert is removable. So you take that insert out, you put it out to dry in a well-ventilated area. Make sure that your liner is dry, and also the boot itself, because sometimes once you take that liner out, that boot itself will actually hold some moisture. So put it near a register, put it near somewhere, a fan or something like that, and make sure that it's dry, because that moisture, you do not want it against your skin. Thank you for listening to what we have to say about winter wear. Ask the questions, and if you have any questions, contact us at our website, which we will put below on the screen. And we can help you with your choice of clothing, depending on what you guys want to do. So in closing, I am James from Timmins-Porcupine Search Rescue, and this is Marie-Andree from Timmins-Porcupine Search Rescue. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.